So you were going to complete your story about a student that was in your class named Jenny?
Okay. So when I first started teaching, I taught outside of Poudre School District. I taught in a different community. And it's a community that does not have necessarily the same resources as the Fort Collins community. But I think also part of this was because I was a new teacher and I really didn't know all of the resources. But it came to my attention that one of the students, her name's Jenny, she was not eating lunch. And so was, she kind of accidentally let me know she wasn't eating lunch. And I was concerned about that, as an adult, I'm concerned about that. And so I asked her about it. And her reasons were along the lines that she did not want the other students to know for such a long period of time that she was having, that she was on the free and reduced lunch program and that she wasn't able to pay for her lunches. But she was saying, hey, could she just hang out with me during that lunchtime? Because, we had a very strict policy on campus that she had to be in the lunchroom or you had to be in a classroom, and so she must have been getting some flack from some other sources, some other places that she shouldn't have been in the halls or whatever. And so I said, yeah, sure, and that I had some work. She said that, she'd be happy to help out. So I said, yeah, I've got some work. As all teachers, especially new teachers, have lots of work to be done. And so she would work on bulletin boards is usually what she worked on for me. But I think sometimes, she'd kind of organize papers or, she couldn't really grade the papers, but, just work on projects here and there. And in the mornings, I would make a couple sandwiches, and, one would be for Jenny and one would be for me. I went to talk to the counselor right afterwards, and I was like, what do you do in situations like this where the student is not eating? And from the junior high perspective, that's, they'll live and die over their peers, and so, what do you do when they won't eat? And I let her know what was going on, and so she, she was able to, thank goodness, develop a relationship also with this student. And I know this student eventually was involved in some of the other programs we've had, though. There was a girls group that she was involved in. There was I know that she took some summer school classes too. This counselor was actually the summer school teacher, one of the summer school teachers. And so this student was able to qualify for some scholarship money that allowed her to get some back to school clothes. So that would have been, I met her in 8th grade, and so that would have been at the beginning of her 9th grade year. And the story that just impressed me the most was a story then that the counselor, she'd been working with her, had explained to me that she was able to access these scholarship funds for this student. And when she went to take her to go back to school shopping, she was a young adult, and so she wanted her to be able to get her own clothes. And she said, the counselor said, okay, I'll wait out here for you in the car. And the student would not get out of the car. Jenny's like, no, you've helped me so much already, I can't take your money. And the counselor was like, no, there's got to be something. I'm sure there's something that you need for school. And so she got out of the car, and she went in, she came back out. She's like, can't I get something for you, for the counselor? The counselor's like, no, go get what you need. You need something. And there were even just very basic things like underwear and things that this girl needed, and so she did just get some underwear, just a few shirts and jeans is the way the counselor told me the story. But just didn't even want to, she didn't want to use those funds. So, a girl with pride, and just a really special student who was one of the students who actually I learned a lot from, and who I feel very fortunate to have had the chance and opportunity to have worked with during my first few years of teaching.
So what did you guys talk about during lunch when she was doing bulletin boards and papers?
Boys, hello.
Nice.
Normal junior high girl things. So I did a lot of listening.
So when did you have lunch?
I would have lunch when she was having lunch, and then I would work on teacher things while she'd work on my bulletin boards. And it was not a block program, so we only had about 45 minutes for lunch. And
so did she just bring her food from the cafeteria, like when she'd go, or?
remember I was making her a sandwich, so she would eat that.
You made sandwiches for her?
And me, I would make my sandwich in the morning for me, and her sandwich for her, and she'd do my bulletin board. So
It's amazing.
why is that amazing, Phoenix?
Probably just because you sound like an amazing person. That's all. So
And so, at this point in the interview, that Phoenix is on his hunger strike, and so he's just saying things like that with his eyes twitching because that's where he is.
that's not true. That's not true. I'm perfectly capable of controlling my eyeballs.
And since he just said that in a different language, that proves my point.
Yeah, I speak Spanish sometimes. We'll talk about that later. All right. Well, thanks so much for your time.
Please, I feel like it was horrible. I don't want to see it like